In this video, you will discover information of paramount importance. I am going to introduce you to one of the spiritual powers that this science allows you to acquire without marginalizing yourself from society, by immersing yourself in an ashram run by some guru or other. So, be patient and watch this video until the end. If you need to take the time to listen to a video that could change your life, now is the time. Now, let's move on to the first chapter. Here I give an example of a shield practiced in traditional Buddhism. Although similar practices for creating an energetic or spiritual shield exist in most primordial traditions, these practices were often taught in secret. This type of teaching can be found in certain esoteric societies. I will therefore take the example of the shield practiced in Buddhism in order to compare it to the formidable science of transformation developed by the great Thoth. I do indeed refer to it as a science because it is an ancient science that has remained authentic, having escaped over time any religious or philosophical appropriation. We owe this miracle to the fact that this science has remained secret for millennia and has been jealously guarded by an elite concerned with its own existence to the detriment of all. This is explained in more detail in the book, The Science of Transformation. Before discovering the simplicity and power of this science that is intended for you, let us see what Buddhism offers to achieve an energetic and spiritual shield. In order to make the video audible and understandable, I deliberately avoided using Buddhist terms such as sati, samatha, vipassana, metta, etc. In Buddhism, this concept of a shield is found in the form of long spiritual and mental protection practices aimed at preserving the practitioner from negative influences, obstacles, and internal disturbances. These demanding practices are not intended to erect a physical barrier, but to transform the mind to make it impervious to factors of suffering and disturbing emotions. The shield in Buddhism is based in particular on the development of inner qualities and the adoption of very specific practices, such as taking refuge in the three jewels and the Dharmapalas, followed by mantras and rituals. These include the recitation of recurring mantras, such as the Vajrasattva mantra, associated with purification, or other mantras associated with protective deities, such as Tara or Mahakala. There are also specific lengthy rituals used to purify negative karma. It should also be noted that in Buddhism, there is the concept of an inner shield, which combines the practice of meditation and ethics, but the most essential form of protection remains the mental shield, which allows one to cultivate kindness. This shield is part of the classic 4 protective meditations, based on kindness, compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity. The practice of unconditional kindness is considered a powerful antidote to hostility and a protection against insecurity, as it eliminates the inner causes of conflict. All these Buddhist practices, which I have briefly mentioned, nevertheless require a permanent commitment on the part of the practitioner, which is almost impossible to achieve in the life of a Westerner, especially since the practitioner must devote themselves entirely to deities and develop beliefs in this regard. Let's be clear, I have never practiced these Buddhist rituals, nor spent endless hours reciting mantras, nor practiced yoga. That would have been beyond my strength. Nor will I address the fact that one must embrace religious beliefs in several deities, assume a life of infinite devotion, and all the subjugation that goes with it. This is a point that bothers me in this kind of implicit allegiance to deities I do not know. I am therefore unable to tell you whether these practices have any real virtue that yield concrete results in everyday life. Let us now turn to the science of transformation, which has completely changed my life. I apply its precepts effortlessly and without disrupting my daily schedule. You will discover for yourself that this is a true lost science. Once you have mastered the basics of this science, it integrates harmoniously and discreetly into your daily life. I will now introduce you to its approach, which should appeal to you with its simplicity, pragmatism, and ancestral authenticity. Let us now move on to the next chapter, and stay tuned because you are in for a surprise. In the science of transformation, which stems from the secret teachings of Thoth, it is not necessary to have a particular faith in deities, to be religious, mystical, or have any spiritual background, nor to have a degree in anything. Nor is it necessary to engage in lengthy rituals and spend hours reciting mantras endlessly. In this science, the energy shield protects us from physical and emotional attacks, as well as viral attacks and miasmas. It draws on vital energy. In martial arts, such as Tai Chi, this principle is used to modify the properties of Qi, or vital energy, to create a protective envelope. Personally, before I knew about the science of transformation, I used a very small variation of this shield without knowing it. A great Tai Chi master introduced me to these techniques. It is powerful and incredibly effective. We live in a difficult world. The need to protect ourselves has become essential. The role of the shield is to create a protective bubble around our body. This bubble is invisible, but can be perceived by those who see auras. I hope that the details I reveal about the power of the energy shield in the science of transformation will make you want to go further. Let's move on to the next chapter. You must use the power of breath and sound. As this power is one of the secrets taught in the science of transformation, I cannot reveal everything here. However, I will reveal the principle behind it. There are 3 phases to creating a true energy shield. Phase 1, inhalation. Phase 2, emptying the mind. Phase 3, exhalation. You may think you understand what this is about, as many gurus use these same terms. Think again, because each phase contains a specific teaching that you will not find anywhere else. This is precisely what makes the application of these phases, according to the secret teaching of the science of transformation, so effective and formidable. I'm giving you these details so that you can purchase the complete book without saying this teaching is not what I am looking for, as is often the case with many books that are highly acclaimed but whose content remains unclear. During these breathing phases, you mentally deploy vital energy according to specific guidance. You imagine according to a particular concept. A precise method allows you to combine the energetic power of your heart to obtain a shield that will envelop you. This shield, thus created, merges with your mind and has the ability to be informed of properties, as in the following case. Shield, I confer upon you the task of protecting me intelligently, regardless of the aggression. With practice, you will feel this sphere of energy enveloping you. You can add information to this protection because vital energy is intelligent. For example, at work, your boss is putting pressure on you about a particular file. You can then add the following information to your shield. Shield, protect me from my boss's excessive demands regarding this file, etc. You will then see this pressure at work quickly diminish. When we deploy our protective shield, our adversaries intuitively detect it and are slowed down in their momentum. I have put this into practice many times, and it is quite impressive. With experience, you will be able to activate this energy shield in a single breath, in the blink of an eye, imperceptibly to those around you. You must consider this protection impenetrable by your enemies. It is an intelligent structure that needs to be maintained by your intentions. You can amplify this protection very far, but do not abuse this power. Be careful in its use, and especially in its codification. Keep the wording simple and general. If you develop a protective field that is too powerful, you risk marginalizing yourself. I have also noticed this. Ideally, you should practice this exercise outdoors while walking in order to recharge yourself with vital energy. I will now discuss the second shield, the spiritual shield. Unlike the energy shield, This one develops spontaneously from universal light. I will not go any further on this subject because this shield is very different from the energy shield. I would even say that this spiritual shield is much more powerful and transcends space and time. It develops mainly through the secret applications disclosed in the book. Conclusion. We have just talked at length about the energy shield and the spiritual shield, of which I have given you a brief overview. Be aware that there are many practical applications in everyday life that are useful and incredibly effective. Let us now move on to the next chapter. I cannot stress this enough. You must reclaim your lost powers. As a scribe and messenger, I explain what this remarkable science can do for you. This is not snake oil, nor is it some random collection of video clips from internet gurus parroting the same content or nearly so. Most of these false teachers or YouTubers have gone from drop shipping to the law of attraction, then to the law of manifestation, and finally to highly lucrative coaching in alternative psychology steeped in quantum-style pseudoscience. I will nevertheless mention another current trend, which consists of plundering the contents of books from the last century on positive thinking in order to avoid paying any copyright fees. Examples of this trend include the unpunished plundering of the works of Neville Goddard, Joseph Murphy, Wallace D. Wattles, Charles F. Haanel, Ernest Holmes, Emmett Fox, Norman Vincent Peale, Earl Nightingale, and others. The most surprising thing, symptomatic of an epidemic based on the frantic quest to obtain thousands of paid views on social media, is that all these web parrots offer nothing written by their own hand, using their own intelligence. Personally, when reading this type of book, including the most recent ones, I have always been left unsatisfied and have never achieved convincing results until I discovered the science of transformation. A few years ago, the book The Secret was a huge hit. It sold millions of copies. Where are the readers who became millionaires by reading it? I ask you. I prefer not to give my opinion on the latest trend, the quantum version of everything, which mixes biased and unscientific shortcuts on DNA, epigenetics, and neuroscience interpreted in a fanciful way. All you need is to display a doctorate title to continue hammering home the point and selling expensive coaching sessions while releasing a new book with every new moon. The science of transformation does not participate in this greedy and unhealthy game. As a messenger and scribe of this science, I have a duty to be responsible, clear, and transparent. Moreover, this science is not for everyone. It's not even a question of money, because for less than 10 euros, you can get a digital version. You will not need to buy any other books, as there will be no sequel to this one, apart from perhaps some free blog articles. I must remain true to a certain ethic with regard to this sacred and ancestral teaching. That is why you had the opportunity to read the free PDF in order to get a clearer idea of this wonderful science. Of course, I would not mind if this book were to spread to every home, as the aim is to help suffering humanity to emerge from its torpor. But to be completely honest, the ball is more in your court than mine. I was asked to be the scribe, the messenger, and I have done my part. You are now the recipient of this ancient science. It is your responsibility to implement this powerful teaching. And you won't need to read another book, because this is the one and only book on the science of transformation. I will not explain how I became its custodian. Everything is explained in the book. All you need to remember is that this science served the interests and power of an elite at the expense of the people. But times are changing. Let us move on to the next chapter. We are now living in the times of the apocalypse, the revelation of all that is veiled and hidden. The word apocalypse comes from the Greek apokalypsis, which means divine revelation. We are indeed living in an age where everything must be revealed to human beings in search of truth. It is a cosmic obligation. Now, it is your turn to take advantage of this opportunity to transform your life in a magnificent way. Seize this unprecedented opportunity. Use your insight to grasp this very rare opportunity. Access to authentic, unadorned, raw truth. Ancestral teachings that can change your life in unexpected ways. I am offering you a free preview version of the Science of Transformation in PDF format, which is worth its weight in gold. I have included the link to the website in the description, from which you can also access the sales site for your country. The Science of Transformation is available as a high-quality paperback book, but also in digital format for less than £10. So there's no excuse to ignore this amazing science. Don't forget that by buying this book, you are doing yourself an invaluable service. You will discover its value and reap the rewards in a few months after regularly putting the teachings it contains into practice. By purchasing it, you are also helping to spread the word about this very useful science, which encourages me to continue creating blogs and videos. Please subscribe and like this video to encourage me to promote this science.